What's going on, guys? Today is the day all of our parts have arrived. Big thanks to the guys at scootertuning.ca for supplying all the parts for this build. I can't wait to get started on this bike and get going. So in here we have the GY6 150cc long case motor. In here we have all the rest of the parts that we're going to need to get the swap done. The only thing that I'm missing now is the wiring harness. It seems to be out of stock everywhere I look, so it might be a little while on that, but I'm hoping one of the suppliers gets them in stock as soon as possible so I can get this build done. Huge thanks to the guys at scootertuning.ca, and a big thanks to Eric at Scooter Tuning, who has been helping me out finding all the parts I need and just making sure this is all going to go as smoothly as possible. So big thanks to Scooter Tuning. Hit them up at scootertuning.ca. I'll throw the link down in the description, so check them out. They are Canadian prices. They source all the things from the Ruckus shop. They have things from Passport JDM, all the major scooter distributors, so check them out. Awesome Canadian guys. Shipping is all in Canadian, parts are all in Canadian, and you don't get killed on duties or exchange rate or anything like that. So super great guys over at Scooter Tuning. So let's get started with this build here, guys. I'm going to open up the GY6 box here first, so let's check it out. I've already taken off most of the plastic because I couldn't wait last night to open it, but let's check this baby out. So as you guys can see here, here's the 150cc GY6. It's a brand new motor from Scooter Tuning. It's about the same size as the 50cc motor, so it's not actually a lot bigger, which is great, so it'll fit in there nicely. This is an air-cooled engine versus water-cooled, so there's a lot less stuff going on with it. So tonight I'm going to be ripping this thing apart and changing out the stator on it. I'm going to be going with an 11-pole stator setup, so I have to rip this apart here, get to the stator, pull the flywheel off, and get that all sorted. Another thing that I'm going to have to change out tonight is the axle. The axle is a long axle right now, and it's not going to work with my wheel setup, so I do have a shorty axle that's going to be going on. So I'm going to have to pull off the CVT cover, all the gears, and get through the transmission to get that all sorted out. So, but not a big deal. So first thing in the box is I have the blue NCY brake shoes. This will add a little bit of stopping power to the rear. I don't have a front brake setup yet. I just have the stock drum, so this should help with a little bit of braking at high speeds. Second thing we have in the box is our 11-pole stator. This is going to get swapped out from the stock 8-pole stator. Next up we have our 24mm carburetor. This is pretty much just a stock carburetor for the GY6 motor. Yeah, it's just plug and play, pop it in, away you go. One thing that I don't have here and that's already at the shop is my new Douglas wheel. This is just a nice little center cap for it, but tires are going to be all ready tomorrow, hopefully at Urban X. A couple small things here. We have our short axle. That's going to get swapped out for the long axle. Axle bolt. That's pretty crucial to keep the rear wheel on. Exhaust gasket for our new exhaust that I'll show you in a minute. This is our angle clocking fan for our carburetor. It's just going to lift it up a little bit so it sits at a better level. Next up we have our Mojo Customs motor mount for the GY6. My last motor mount that I have from them was great, and this looks like great quality and it's nice and beefy. Along with that is our shock mount, pretty simple. And finally we have our different level extensions. I haven't decided what I'm going to go with yet. I'm thinking I don't want to go with the shortest one. I had it on my bike as you guys saw before. Not sure if I want to go with the middle of the pack or the really long stretch. bolts along with it. Next up we have our rear hub. This is going to get our new Douglas wheel on there. My previous Douglas wheel that's currently at the shop is getting the new tire, or the old tire, back on the new Douglas wheel. So the previous Douglas wheel would not work with the GY6 motor. So new wheel and new hub to go with it. Big thanks to Sean who let me borrow this flywheel puller. This will be a huge help in getting the new stator into the GY6 motor. So big thanks to him on that. Finally, this is kind of an exciting piece. We have our Yoshi exhaust, which is a beautiful little piece. So check that out. That's going to look great on the GY6. Pretty pumped about this piece. So it's going to be great. That's about it for the parts you guys are going to need for this swap, guys. The only thing I'm missing is a harness. That's pretty crucial to get this thing up and running. So I'm hoping I can find one that's in stock pretty quick here. Sean, who's in Calgary, who has a GY6 Ruckus, used the ATR harness from the Ruck Shop, and Scooter Tuning also sources that as well. So he says that was a really great harness to use, especially if you're using the stock controls like I am. So I'm hoping I can get the Ruck Shop to get those back in stock as soon as possible. And yeah, so big shout out to scootertuning.ca who supplied with all these parts. So they've been a huge help for me on this Ruckus, and they supplied like probably 95% of the parts that are on my Ruckus. So they're a great Canadian company. The shipping is super quick and super cheap. If you guys have known the Ruckuses, or any car parts in general, car parts are a huge pain to get from the States because you're dealing with the exchange rate, which is still pretty brutal. I think it's still between 25 and 30%. And then also duties and shipping times also takes a while as well. So huge, it's a huge advantage to order these parts from Scooter Tuning. Eric and the guys over there are super great to deal with. And like I said, cheap parts, shipping is fast, so big shout out to them. So this is pretty much the whole list of parts that you guys are going to need for your GY6 swap, apart from your harness, which I don't have yet, but I'll be hopefully getting as soon as possible. So if you start at the top right, you have your little intake that you're going to need for your carburetor. You're going to need an engine mount at some point. This includes all the pieces here. You're going to need a flywheel puller for your 11-pole stator right here. You have to pull out the flywheel in order to get to it. An exhaust gasket for your new exhaust. A short axle for the GY6. You're going to have to swap out the extra long axle that it comes with. Obviously oil. Gear oil for the transmission case that you're going to drain for when you swap in your other axle. You're going to go with a carburetor that this is a 24 mil. It's pretty much a standard carb for the GY6. It's a really common one that guys use. Rear axle nut for your wheel. This is kind of an extra piece. It's a center cap for the Douglas wheel. That's not really needed, but it's a nice piece to have. You're going to need a rear hub for your wheel. You can't really use your stock Ruckus hub or any of the ones that come with the Get motors. This one works well with the new wheel and puts the wheel to a nice offset. You're going to need a low-down shock for obviously reasons. You're going to need to have a different angled shock on there. You're going to need a clocking flange for the carburetor. It puts it at a little bit of a nicer angle so it's not sitting at a weird angle. You're going to need some brakes for the GY6, and you're also going to need an exhaust of some sort. So that's pretty much it, guys.